Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to add a Vmotion, how to configure Vmotion. So the steps that I'm going to go through is step number one. I'm going to make sure that I have two logical unit numbers, two luns available from the storage. If they are not available, then I'm going to add those disks. So first of all, to need to send runs from OpenFiler for vMotion, for SVMotion actually, for SVMotion. So first process is this. I'm going to work in OpenFiler and make sure that those disks are available. Secondly, we are going to make sure that that VMs VMs are in shared storage and then third we are going to configure vMotion and fourth we are going to verify vMotion. So these are the four things that I'm going to do. Now in order to do this, I have VS1, I have OpenFiler, I have ESXi1, I have ESXi2 and 3. So there are three. So first I'm going to log into my VS through a web client and the legacy client as well. I would advise everyone to, whenever you log in these test environment, log into both of them. So here I am logging into administrator at vSphere.local and I'm gonna log into my legacy client as well at the same time. So I'm logged in here and I'm gonna log into my legacy client with through IP address. So in this case the IP address is 15, username. So I'm logged into both. So first of all, in order to do vMotion or anything, guys, verify your environment. How do I verify my environment? I'll go to home screen, then go to host and cluster. I should see that at least two of my hosts are available. Now, so two of the hosts are available and there are many VMs here. Now, two of the hosts are available. On one of them, there is this exclamation sign. Guys, this exclamation sign, always see, sometimes this exclamation sign is from some previous event. Maybe it's not even valid. So it doesn't automatically remove this exclamation sign. What you can do is, you can go to the host, you can go to summary, and within the summary, you will see that this is the exclamation sign here. So what I need to do is I would just go to the more I would just go to this place here where I can remove the exclamation sign events. So I can go to events and within events I can go down, actually not in events, it is host and cluster right here. So it's not even showing me those. Okay, so first of all, um, let me bring this environment back to where we all are in class. We don't have cluster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the cluster from here and then add it again so that all of us can add the cluster as well. So for now, in order to do this, I need to change some configuration in order to remove the cluster. So let me do that. You don't have to do it because you don't have a cluster. In doing this, I need to go to settings and then I need to go to CRS, turned off, and I need to go here. It is turned off. Okay. So this is done. And the second thing that I need to do is I need to, so guys, in all these hosts, there is something known as maintenance mode. So maintenance, if you right click on any host, it gives you enter maintenance mode or exit maintenance mode. Now what this means is if you enter into maintenance mode, what it does, it means that the server has to go through some maintenance. In doing this, when you enter into maintenance mode, what it does, it will try to move all the machines elsewhere. It will try to move all the machines elsewhere because you have to do some maintenance on this. But this only happens when you have a cluster. So, and in order to take out a machine from a cluster, you need to enter this machine into a maintenance mode. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this video here and bring this environment back to where we are clustering. Guys, now my environment is one data center and two hosts. So the very first thing in this environment that I'm going to do is create a cluster. So in order to create a cluster, guys, creating a cluster in VMware is the easiest clusters you can ever find. You will ever configure. So in order to create a cluster, all you need to do is right click on your data center and then say new cluster. And when you say new cluster, it will ask you a few questions. So it will ask you the cluster name. So I'm going to name it, it is CANF CLU for cluster 1. And it will be in this data center. At this moment, we are not switching on DRS or HA or EVC or virtual SAN. So these options are all disabled at the moment. So the only thing we are creating is just a simple, very simple cluster. So again, one more time, all I did, I just right clicked on Black Ice Data Center and then selected new cluster and I named it and that's it. And right after that, guys, what we need to do is, so for now I want to show you the change between having a cluster and not having a cluster. So as you can see, if you don't have a cluster, guys, all the VMs, they appear in their own, under their own host. And these VMs appear under their own host. But as soon as you add them to a cluster, all these VMs will be owned by the cluster. So for now, all these VMs are owned by each host. So these VMs are only under this host, and these VMs are only under this host. So once I add it, so let's add it. So all you need to do, drag it on top of the cluster, and then it will automatically move it. Guys, always whatever you do, keep an eye on this recent task, because here it will give you either success or failure. So my one machine is moved, and I'm going to move the second machine in as well. Now, now we must know the method of adding hosts to a cluster and removing hosts from a cluster. So we must know this. First of all, adding host is really easy. Adding host is really easy. All you need to do is drag them and both of the hosts are added and all the VMs are now, they're all part of one cluster. But guys, if you ever need to remove a host from a cluster, you won't be able to remove it just like this. For example, if you try to move it back to data center, it will give you error message, and at the same time, it would suggest the solution as well. It's saying one or more hosts are not in maintenance mode. Enable maintenance mode, then remove the host from the cluster. So in order to remove the host from a cluster, you must enable maintenance mode. So all we need to do is right click on this and just say enter maintenance mode. Guys, enter maintenance mode works uh, quickly if none of your machines are on. So for now, it's just, as you can see, it just entered into a maintenance mode and it just changes this icon as well. So if the icon seems like this, it means that it is in maintenance mode. And let me do the same thing for the other. I'm going to enter the second machine in maintenance. Guys, if any machine, any VMs within these hosts would have been on, then what it would do, it won't go into maintenance mode unless the switched on machine is moved to another host. Since all of my machines were not on, since all of my machines, it automatically placed them in maintenance mode. So in this case, and now I just wanted to show you that as soon as you move it in maintenance mode, you move it out, it will automatically take it out from the cluster. So we should know that how to add how to add hosts to a cluster and then how to remove them. Adding is fine. Adding is very simple. You just drag it on the cluster and it's added. But in order to move it out, you need to you need to put it in maintenance mode. But guys, as long as the host is in maintenance mode, it's not usable. So a host in a maintenance mode is like a standby host. It's not working. So in order to make it working, you must take it out the maintenance mode. So here I'm going to go and say exit maintenance mode. And once you do exit maintenance mode, on this side it says that it is trying to make it now the host is alive and now you can use the host. So I'm going to move both of the hosts to maintenance mode. So in this, so here, just in these few steps, we have added a cluster and then we have added host in the cluster and then we saw how to remove host from the cluster. So this is this is how you work with the cluster. Uh, so guys, cluster is created. In cluster, I have two hosts and many machines. Now the second important thing, we need to go through Vmotion requirements. Now Vmotion requirements are as follows. First requirement, what is the Vmotion requirements? So first requirement is you have to have Vmotion enabled in VM kernel in VM kernel adapters. Now here, so first option is this. Um, First requirement is this. So what I'll do is I'll jump back to our environment, and then on each host, let's go through this option. So on each host. So first I'm going to go to host number 1, and then go to manage, and then go to networking. And then within networking, I need to make sure that on VM kernel adapter, this is a VM kernel adapter, and within VM kernel adapter, I need to select VMK0, which is a management port 0, and I need to click this edit, which is pencil-like icon. Here, I need to just click edit, and once you click edit, Vmotion, just say, this should be enabled. So Vmotion traffic should be enabled. Now, once this is done, again, one more time. All I did, I went into host, I went into manage, networking, VM kernel adapter, select this, edit this, and when you edit it, this option should be enabled. So this is one. Now, secondly, do the same thing on the second host as well. So second host, and then go to manage, networking, adapter, and VM kernel VMK0. Now, why am I saying VMK0? Because maybe all of us sitting here or in your lab, you don't have VMK1 or VMK2, but you must have VMK0. So we are doing it through VMK0. And VMK0 is your default management port. And here, as you can see, Vmotion is not enabled. It must be enabled. So, sorry. Hmm? Yes. No, you won't change it. You won't change the name of the NIC card because this has to be VMK0. These are default names that are there. Okay, so we never change those names. No, no, that was a port group name. A port group name had to be the same. So here you have Vmotion traffic and it's done. Now guys, I'm going to show you the same thing from legacy client as well. So in legacy client, you need to do the same thing. You need to go to the host first and then go to configuration. And within configuration, you need to go to networking. And within networking, you need to go to properties. Yes. And then here you need to go to management port and you edit it. And once you edit, here you have Vmotion. So again, I mean now I'm gonna verify for the second host. For the second host, you need to go to configuration, need to go to networking, and this is your switch 0. And from switch 0, you need to go to properties, and from here select the management port. So the naming convention is a little different from web client and this. Here it is called management network, and there it is called VM kernel adapter. So in this edit and just make sure this is, if you disable it from here, it will be disabled from there as well because they are all accessing the same database. So once this is verified, guys, my second requirement is that CPU should be same. So let's check the second requirement. Same CPU on all hosts. So this is our second requirement. Now, So in order to do this, let's first check from the legacy client. In legacy client, I would select the host and then go to summary. And in summary, it shows me my CPU is, here is the CPU, Intel R Core TM i7 2720. This is the model that has to be exactly the same on all hosts. Now, and I'll go to the second one and go to summary, and it is showing me the same model. Now, why is it showing us the same model? Because they all belong to the host. Because we have a VM where in real environment, your physical servers might be different. If they are different, if this is Intel, the other server is AMD, Vmotion cannot work. Now, let's see the same option in from the web client. From the web client, you go to, again, the host, and then go to summary. And within the summary, right here, it says in processor type, it says the same model. So this is the second requirement that met. The third one is that you should have same VM network port group name. VM network port group name. And it is case sensitive. It is case sensitive. Now, in this case, let's verify that on web client. All you need to do is, so first, again, it's the networking requirement. You need to go to the host. You need to go to manage. You need to go to networking. Within networking, this time you need to go to virtual switch. In a virtual switch, when you go into a virtual switch, guys, this name is right on a virtual switch. If you go down on this, let me make it full screen. So right here, I don't have, so my port group name is production. My port group name is production. So if I go into this here, first of all, so my port group name is production. Your port group name, the default port group name is VM network. So if it is VM network, it should be VM network on the other side as well. But in my case, if it is production, it shows me this is production. On my other host, I should have one VM port group name which should have exactly this spelling and this name. So in your case, you can verify, go to the other host, go to the same place. On vSwitch 0, there should be one port group that is called VM network. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to the second host and then go to manage networking switches. Here, I do not have that port group here. So I must create that port group. In your case, you might have it. Let me see on my other switches. It's not there. Actually, it's here on one of the switches. So as long as it is there on one of the switches, this port group name, it should be okay. No, so in your case, it is VM network. If VM network exists on both of the hosts, it's all good. Now let me show you the same thing from the legacy client. From the legacy client, you would select the host and then go to configuration, go to networking, and here within vSwitch, this is the port group name. Port group name is production. In your case, it is VM network. Now let's make sure on the second host. So if I go to the second host, go to configuration, and you should see on your switch 0, there should be a port group name called VM network on your port. But in my case, I have a third switch that has the same port group name. So you should have at least one port group name that should be exactly the same on both of them. This is our third requirement. Guys, fourth requirement is say now VMs should be on a shared storage. So all VMs should be in shared storage. So for this requirement, guys, it is very important to know how to check this out. So in order to check this out, I would select one by one all VMs and see where they are sitting. So I'll select the first VM and go to summary, and here it says this is sitting in SAN. This is sitting in SAN. So which means this VM is compatible for vMotion. Let's look at my second VM, go to summary, and so this VM is not sitting in SAN. So this VM is sitting probably in a local data store. So I need to move it. So I'll migrate this. It's being offline and change the data store. I'll change the data store to SAN. So just move the VM to SAN. So here it is moved. It is moving to SAN provided there is much space on this. Now I'm going to do the same thing from the web client. So once this is done, I can move to the web client, and within web client, I'll verify another VM. So here, let's look at this VM and go to, in order to see this, that which store it is, which data store it is on, I need to go to summary. And then within summary, you need to go down to data stores. So it's just loading up. So right here, so VM, and you need to check the hard disk. So expand the hard disk, and this is sitting in data store 1. Even this VM is not sitting in the SAN data store. So guys, if it is not sitting in SAN data store, it cannot be vMotion. So what I need to do, I need to migrate it to the SAN partition. So all you need to do, right click on that VM and go to migrate. And when you migrate it, here I need to select data store and move next. And here I need to select this. And guys, here it is also validating it if it has enough space. If it did not have enough space or any other reason, it would give you failed compatibility. So here next and finish. So guys, this is how we check the four requirements, and this all meets our vMotion requirement. And now what we're going to do, we are going to do a vMotion. So in order to do a vMotion, all you need to do is select any machine that meets all the requirement. I'll switch this on. So you will power this on. So once it is powered on, and always keep an eye on these recent tasks, because here it is the two machines that I was moving, they're still moving. They're still moving. So sometimes you need to wait for the task to complete, because it is copying the complete data store. So it is 93%, the other one is 90%. And it is powering on. It is taking time to power them on because there are other tasks running. Now, let me try with another machine that is sitting in the storage, and I can do vMotion and switch it on. So let's select any other machine that is sitting in your SAN. So this is sitting in SAN, and let me power this on. So we'll just power this on. Once it is powered on, then we'll do vMotion. Now, vMotion, as we all know, vMotion is the movement of state of VM from one host to another when it is powered on. If it is powered on, it's not vMotion. It is still a migration, but it's just a cold migration in that case. So here, machine is still powering on. So there are many tasks running at the same time. Let me see guys, the good thing here is that since they are both accessing the same data store, you can see recent tasks are same. They are updated on both of them. So you're seeing the same recent tasks. There are two recent tasks that are moved the machine. They're still going on, but the machine are started. So this machine is started. This machine is ready to be vMotioned. Guys, and now is the time to test our vMotion. So right click on the machine and just say migrate. And when you migrate this machine, it should give you an option to migrate. And vMotion is the best way to see how your environment is. So here it is giving me this option, change host. And all you need to do is click next. Guys, one thing that I would suggest, this web client, it takes a huge number of resources. For example, if web client, now in my machine, if I shut down the web client, this will be very, very fast. Now, web client needs huge resources in your machine. If web client is making your labs very, very slow, I would suggest that do all of the labs in legacy client first. So for one time, complete all labs using legacy client, because it will be very, very fast. And then in the next turn, do it in web client, because otherwise you won't be able to finish any of the labs. So guys, here I'm migrating it. It's just asking me which host do you want to migrate. So it is sitting on 50 at the moment. Let's see. Actually, I don't know where it is sitting. So for that, I need to cancel this and see where it is sitting at the moment. Now, in order to see that, okay, so again, you need to go to summary and see where the VM is sitting, which host is it sitting on. Okay, fine. So guys, this machine is sitting on 60. The machine is sitting on 60. Yes. Okay, I'll check that out. I'll check that out. Let me just finish this and I'll check that out. So guys, it's just few more minutes here. Just few more minutes here. So my machine was sitting on 60. So I'm gonna move it to 50 now. And since the machine is on, it should be able. So it's saying that is it a priority or is it standard? So if it is high priority, it would leave other tasks and do this first. So we're gonna say this is high priority, and then next and done. So guys, now it is doing, if vMotion is all good. Now, if the vMotion visit completed successfully, it means your all vMotion is configured. Now it should be moving the machine to another machine to another host. So here it is 60. In few moments you should see that this 60 will be changed to 50. So here it's saying migrating machine is still on and it is in progress. So in few moments, if vMotion requirements are fine, now it is moving the machine. Once it is all done, it should show you the percentage. And if I go to my web client, it should also show you here the task that it is running. High priority. So it has moved to 50. So the same machine has moved to the host 50, and on legacy client it is completed and it has moved to 50. So guys, this is how we configure vMotion, and this is how we verify vMotion. This is how we go through this. I want you to do this at home when you're going through this. So I'm gonna